Hey, this is James, Storage Scavenger, and welcome back. It's been a little while since I've been here. If anybody's here, make sure you say hi in the chat, so I know who all's here. Um, yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about what we're doing, what's going on, um, and share where we're going and what we're doing if anybody shows up. So right now we are got the StreamYard up. Go to live chat. Hi Susan. How are you doing today? So Jessica's putting the kids down. If they get to sleep, she might join me for a few minutes. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we've been busy. Everything's gone crazy right now. We're kind of isolated right now, kind of a self isolation. They haven't actually locked us down yet in our little bitty town, but with our daughter, and because of her disabilities and stuff, we have self isolated ourselves as much as we can. We were pretty well stocked up on most everything before all this stuff hit and this craziness started hitting. Like our little town, we don't have any major issues here yet, but because of we're really close to Austin, we're nestled between Austin and San Antonio, and so people are coming from Austin and San Antonio and raiding our stores. So our grocery stores are empty because of the people coming out. Hi Jennifer, thanks for joining us. Boatman, I appreciate you guys coming. I know I disappeared for a little while. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. Y'all know Jessica was in the hospital um, a few weeks ago, back in January and the beginning of February, and she came home, but she had an open wound still and required a lot of care. She wasn't able to take care of the kids, so I kind of pulled away a little bit to continue taking care of her and all that. But then my anxiety and my depression got to an all-time high, and I kind of pulled away from everybody and everything. And then as I started trying to pull myself out of it in the last week or so, all this stuff craziness hit with the coronavirus. So hi Rob, thank you. So we are all right now. Jessica was not feeling well today for the most part. She had some issues going on, but we are all doing better. Nobody has coronavirus here. We are down right now. They've canceled all of my daughter's therapies and everything. Our nurses, one of our nurses is in isolation right now because she's not sick, but a family members of hers is sick, and they're still waiting on the test results for her to see if she has coronavirus, and she was with that family member. So because she potentially was exposed, the nursing company won't let her come to work for at least 2 weeks. Um, and thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Um, and we do. We really appreciate all the support. It's been a rough year. It started in January, and it's just been one thing after another. But I've got a lot to be thankful for too. I still have a lot of stuff going for me. We've got a lot of things that we're building up. You know, I haven't lost everything that I own, and I know my friend Justin up at Grimes Finds, he's the one that really helped me boost my YouTube channel and get started. He's helped me a lot with understanding this business. And man, I feel for him because he had the big fire, lost everything in his business, and then right after that, everything with the coronavirus hit. So yeah, he's going through a rough time with his business right now. And so, I'm thankful that, we haven't lost everything yet. Our storage hasn't been broken into or anything. So we've got all of our stuff. Luckily, we had a couple of units over the last few months that we've gone through. We have a ton of hand sanitizer that we found in storage units. So we can't find any, but we got plenty. and we're kind of holding on to that, and we're sharing some of that with friends and family right now so that they have some. Um, Hi, Danny May. Yes, it has been too long. Jessica's been bugging me about why I haven't been going live at least. Um, we've just been so busy with the kids and everything. And then when my anxiety and my depression hit me, and I get that way, I pull away from everybody, and I mean everybody, even Jessica and the kids. I mean, I pulled away from everybody for a while, and I'm trying to get my head back into the game and get myself back in control and get back into work. Dave Ramsey helped me a lot too. We wouldn't have been where we're at right now, and I wouldn't be doing this way I've been doing it if it hadn't have been for being through Dave Ramsey's plan. We're already out of debt. We had our emergency fund in place. We've been living off of that for the last few months though. So between that and what using that to supplement what I was making through reselling while I build up the business. If it hadn't have been for that being debt free and having that emergency fund in place, I couldn't have left my job the way I did. Um, there was no way because my business wasn't making enough money for me to lose my job. But things, and I'm really, really glad now because they actually have the virus in the prison that I used to work at. So I'm really glad I'm no longer working there. Um, so um, it was good timing for me to get out. There's a lot of changes that have happened since I left that have just told me that I made a right decision getting out, even though financially we were not in the position we wanted to be at. So, how's everybody else doing, Danny? I haven't seen y'all in a while. How you doing, Danny May? I saw Robin earlier. I was on her live for a little bit. Um, and my internet has been going in and out, so y'all might lose me. Um, I'm hoping it'll stay stable long enough for me to do this live. Hi, Papa Smurf. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, I mean things have been crazy and hectic, but we're doing okay. We got a little bit of finances set aside, so we're still okay for another month or two to get us through this crisis. And I've got a lot of inventory right now. I had just bought 3 units when just after Jessica got out of the hospital, and I'm still working on those units. So I've got a lot of inventory that I'm still sorting through, and some of it's pretty good. I got one of the units. I haven't filmed all of it. I got to do some filming on some of this stuff. That's the other thing is one of the great things about having a baby is he loves to play with everything. So Jesse loves playing with my phone, and he broke the camera, which this is the camera that I use to record all my videos, and Jesse broke it, and it's not in the budget right now to replace my phone. So we're trying to work out some things so that I have a way to record so I can start doing some more videos. But I'm still working. I've still got some stuff going on. I still got some stuff to sort out from those 3 units that we got right after or in the or end of February, and we're sorting some stuff out. I've got some furniture videos I'm gonna do where I'm just doing some touch up work on some video furniture and showing some simple things we can do to make furniture to where it'll sell for a little bit better. Because that's the thing. I got a lot of pieces of furniture out of these last few units, but some of them need just minor repair work. If it needs major repair work, it goes out the trash. But if it's just minor stuff, I can fix it pretty quick and flip it usually for more money than if I was just to sell it as is. So that's one of the things I'm looking at when I'm trying to do that. So I'm going to actually do some videos showing how I do some of that and what I do with some of the furniture fixes. Um, and I'm thinking about doing some auctions. I've been checking out everybody else's auctions just to kind of see what else is selling, what people are uh, selling right now. I know my eBay has been dead. I don't know about everybody else's. And maybe it's just my listings are down. I need to add more and get more listed, but I haven't made a eBay sale in like a week and a half. Hi, Douglas. Thanks for joining us today. So, but we're doing good. You know, things are getting better, and I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of inventory here, so I'm planning on trying to run another auction this week. In fact, I'm going to be going through and trying to get some stuff sorted and organized, and put together a video of some auction lots, kind of a preview video, and possibly running a lot auction, maybe either Friday or Saturday. Um, so, but I really didn't have a whole lot. I just wanted to poke my head in and say hi and see if anybody wanted to chat. I know people are getting bored and anxious being cooped up in their house all day. So I thought I'd go live and give people a chance to come in and chat if anybody wants to say anything. Or um yeah, a lot of people have been wondering, Douglas. That's part of why I decided to go ahead and go live and let everybody know that we're okay, and talk about it. Talk about, and then, I know there's a lot of stigma against mental health issues. And yeah, I've lived with it my whole life. It's something that I've lived with since I was in my teens. I've had depression, anxiety. Um, I was bullied a lot at school, and I was bullied a lot at home growing up. And because of that, I have a lot of anxiety issues, and I have a lot of depression that I'm still dealing with. And so, and I do pretty well at managing it a lot of times, but then it gets to a point where, it just gets out of control. And then I kind of pull away from everybody. But I don't want to sit here and be, pretend to be any kind of an expert at that kind of stuff. I've lived with it my whole life. I haven't necessarily dealt with it very well. I just deal with it. It's just part of life for me. Um, but I want people to not be afraid of it either. If you have depression and if you have anxiety issues, you know, you've got to be real about it and don't try to hide it, at least from yourself. And you might try to hide it from the world and other people around you, but who was it? Most of the people I don't even have any contact with anymore. It's not important. Um, and some of them aren't even alive anymore. But um, yeah, it was. My life was not easy. You ever watch the TV shows, especially from the ear earlier years, where there was always the nerdy kids that got beat up and stuffed in the lockers, and all the jocks made fun of them, and that was me. I was the nerdy kid. You know, I was the one that was always getting beat up. You know, you got to realize, I look young for my age, but I always have. When I graduated high school, there were people in my class that thought I had skipped grades because I looked like I was 12 years old. I was 18, but I looked like I was 12 years old when I graduated high school. When I was 22, I got pulled over and questioned for truancy because I was on my way to work and I wasn't at school. So I've always looked young. I looked younger than I was when I was in high school. I was the smallest kid in my class. Uh, I didn't reach my height until I was about 22, 23. Um, Before that, when I graduated, I was only like 5'4" when I graduated high school. Got locked in a tuba case. I never got locked into a tuba case. I got locked in the lockers in the gym, and I got locked in all kinds of other stuff. Uh, got picked on, had my stuff stolen, ripped up, torn up. But it's not about how many times you get hit, it's about how many times you get up and keep going. And I've always got up and kept going. It might take me a little while to get back up and keep going, but I always get back up and keep going. Life knocks me down quite regularly, but I still keep getting up and keep going. So, and that's one of the things, and that's one of the things like with my business. I have that tenacity and that perseverance that I might knock down. I might step back for a little bit and take a little breather and re-strategize and rethink. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit it hard again, and that's what I'm doing right now. I took a step back. We had some family issues going on. I had my own issues going on, and I've taken a step back for a little while. Now I'm fixing to go back, and I'm going to hit it hard again, and I'm going to be back out there trying to do videos every day and trying to get. I was in percussion. I used to play with the dingle bells. I played marimbas, xylophones, bells, all the keyboards. And I was made fun of because I was the only guy on the keyboard squad. Everybody else that was on the keyboards were the girls. My brother played trumpet, Kim. Hi, Granny Doe. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I was always picked on in kids. When I was in seventh grade, I tried to do athletics, and then after that, I joined the band, so I didn't have to do PE or athletics anymore. Uh, and really, that was the only reason I did band was because with marching band, I got my PE credits. Yeah, that's true, Danny. There's no place that's safe, even on the internet. Unfortunately, you have to deal with that kind of stuff anywhere you go. But I have a tougher skin now than I had back then too, so um, that helps. Hi, all my kitties. I've seen a lot of really nasty stuff, and I know there's some people that have disappeared off of YouTube because of some of the nasty stuff. People, luckily, I haven't, gotten hit with a bunch of that myself. But the bigger your channel grows, the more it's going to happen, and I know it's going to happen. It's something I've kind of mentally prepared myself for already. Played the viola. I played the viola in elementary school and junior high. I quit after junior high. I wasn't ever very good at it, mainly because I didn't practice very much. And when you don't practice very much, you don't get very good at it. Um, but I played viola. Um, my brother played viola. He also played trumpet. And my wife, Jessica, she played clarinet. So we were all band nerds. And we enjoyed it. I loved being in the band, you know, but yeah, it was fun. But I didn't spend hours and hours practicing it. What practice I got was what we did at school. And some of that was, with my viola, I could take it home and practice, and I didn't. I just didn't. I was too busy with other stuff. With my bells and my xylophones, I couldn't take those home to practice very much. So I could study my scales and stuff, but that was about it. Yeah, that's all they do. Is I've had a few trolls that have showed up on a couple of my lives, and we just block them and delete what they said off of my channel. So I don't sing. Um, I spare everybody the agony of listening to my screeching voice because I do not sing very well. I was always told by people I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket if I had a lid on it. So, um, but then I got out of school. I stopped playing in the band, but then I also got into I was doing a lot of Native American stuff, and I met a bunch of Native American people um when I was out of high school and was doing some stuff with them, and I got into Native American drums and flutes. And I learned how to play the Native American flute. I learned how to play the Native American drums. And sing some of their chants. And every time you sing, your dogs bark. Now Jesse, I'm finding he just turned 1 back in February, and he tries to sing along with the songs on the kids shows, and he loves to dance. He's got this little dance. He sits up and does this weird little dance thing that he does whenever they start playing music. So it's cute to watch. I'm not much of a dancer myself. I'm too slow and old to move that much. Oh, thank you. He's already gone to bed, but I will pass that along. Yeah, he was born in February, so February 19th was his birthday. So he's just over a year old. It's been fun. It was just after Jessica got out of the hospital was when his birthday was. So we were worried she was going to be in the hospital for his birthday. Luckily, she got out in time. But we still didn't get to do much because she's still recuperating, and she's still recuperating even now. I mean, she's doing a lot better, but she's still not fully up to where she was before she got sick and went to the hospital. So she's still got a long way to go. She still has an open wound that I still have to change her dressings on every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how it's doing that day. And it's in a very awkward location to respect her privacy because she doesn't want me to blast it on YouTube. I'm not saying where the wound is. I'm just going to say it's in a very delicate location and it's a place she can't reach, so I have to change the dressings. But we're having to do wound care on her a couple of times a day sometimes, and sometimes more than that. And then, um, she was feeling kind of down. She had some other issues going on today, but she's doing better, I think, now. So she's feeling a little better now than she was. She's getting the kids to bed right now, so hopefully they'll get to sleep. She may pop in here a little bit. I don't know, but um, so what else is going on with everybody else? How many people here are in either forced isolation or voluntary isolation restrictions? And who all is still working? And we haven't done a whole lot. The thing is, around here anyway, all of our auctions are canceled. All the storage facilities, even if there's a few auctions still going on storage treasures, but even if you win the auctions, you can't go pay for them because the facilities are closed. Um, and there's nobody there. So we can't source right now. Luckily, we've got enough stacked up. We've got that, and we still have access to our facility. I've already talked to the people that run our facility. I still have access to my units. They just don't have anybody working in the office. So they've closed their offices, but I still have their contact information. I've already talked to them, and I still have access to my units. So I can go work on my units and work on sorting what I already have, but I can't source any more until this all clears up. And that's where I've got some stuff I'm going to get over there and sort over the next couple of days and sort some more stuff out and bring out another auction. Probably I'm looking at probably Saturday. I'm going to be running an auction, probably about 10 to 14 lots. And right now I know I've got some clothes, men's clothes. I have some men's clothes that I'm going to be doing in some lots, and I've got some women's clothes that I'm going to be doing in some lots. And I haven't been listing really. My eBay store is down to I had it up to almost 120, and now I'm down to like 85, I think. But I haven't had an eBay sale in like 2 weeks. That's just some of the other issues going on too. Is just because I haven't been listing is maybe why my eBay sales are down. I don't know. I'm gonna be trying to get yeah voluntary isolation. You only have to go shopping. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're trying to stay honestly home as much as we can. We're just south of Austin, between Austin and San Antonio in Texas. And Austin has cases of the virus. San Marcos, which is just 10 miles, 20 miles down the road, has cases. San Antonio is where kind of ground zero for where it started in the US. Um, and so we're very, very much staying isolated. My parents live in San Antonio, and we've told them until this clears, no offense, but y'all just stay away from us and the kids because, you know, I'm not worried about me. I'm not really worried about Jessica. We're more worried about, and we're not even worried as much about Jesse. We're worried about Emily because of her compromised immune system. And we don't want her, with having a special needs child, we don't want her getting sick because if she gets this thing, she will be in the hospital and more than likely be in the ICU. So we want to keep this thing as far away from her as we possibly can. Um, and that's all of our precautions right now. That's why we have one of her nurses that we're not letting come to work for at least 2 weeks just to make sure. Oh, my kitties, where in Florida do you live? I lived in Altamont Springs, just north of Orlando, for about 5 years. Matter of time, both my. Yep, you learn something new every day. Danny May, you got to learn something new every day. Hi, Maureen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your prayers. Danny May, she lives in Sherman, which is north of Dallas. Bradenton. Not sure where Bradenton is. So, but we got a lot of good stuff going on here. We did have one of the units that we got a while back before we started keeping our storage at a storage unit. We were bringing everything to the house. And in fact, the room that I'm in now was our storage room. I've been cleaning it out and using it for my uh, auction room, as well as we're setting some stuff up in here for Emily for her schooling and therapy to come in here. But um, when we were first starting all this, we were bringing everything here to the house, and one of the units we got was infested with roaches. And we brought those roaches into our house. We didn't know until after we sorted it, until we started sorting through it, that it was infested. So our house has had roaches, and we've been fighting them and fighting them. And we just finished bombing the house earlier this week, and we're about to bomb it again for a second time. We got a lot of them, but we still see more crawling around. Um, One of the things, if you want to get into storage units, don't put this stuff in your house because you don't know what's in those boxes. Until you sorted through it, don't bring it into your house. We did. We got our house infested with cockroaches, and we have been fighting them and fighting them for months. And now it got to the point where we're having to take pretty extreme measures to get this roach population under control and get rid of them. And I mean, it's gotten to the point where like our nurses don't even want to come to work because they can't come in without seeing them all over the place. And we've been fighting it. We've been trying to get rid of them. It's one of the things we've been working with a lot. It's part of why I haven't done any videos honestly this week is because I've been working on that almost exclusively all week, is trying to get these roaches under control. And it's been pretty bad fighting them, but we're getting it. It's getting underhand now. We we gotta. lot with the bombs this time, and we think we're going to probably bomb it one more time just to make sure, give the eggs a chance to hatch, and then bomb it again before they have a chance to lay more. The one thing we don't have, honestly, is toilet paper. We have everything else in our stores. We've had everything, and I don't get the toilet paper. We had It's like somebody put out a memo and I missed it that said that there was a toilet paper shortage at the same time all this started. I don't know, because that's the one thing I don't get. I can understand the cleaning supplies, the hand sanitizers, the soap, the food. Why toilet paper? There's not a toilet paper shortage. This stuff doesn't give you the runs. So why does everybody have to stock up on toilet paper? And that's the only thing we're out of around here is toilet paper. We still can't get toilet paper to save our lives around here. Luckily, we had already stocked up on toilet paper. We had stocked up on groceries and meat a little bit. And I can go to the store right now. I haven't had a lack of anything, really. We haven't wanted for anything. Most of the stuff that we really needed, we've gone to the store and it was there. Now you see a lot of stuff that's been missing. See, they're talking about not even going back to school here. They're the discussions they're having about school here is that they're talking about just canceling the rest of the school year and starting back up in August whenever they're scheduled to start up again. Um, I don't know how that's going to work with graduations and all that kind of stuff. Are they going to just graduate the people? Or are they going to base it on their grades at the time? I don't know how they're going to deal with all that, with changing their grades and all of that stuff. But that's what they are saying, is that they're talking about canceling schools. And I know because our daughter is homeschooled, or not homeschooled, she is homebound. So she has school teachers within a school system, but instead of her going to school and going to class, they come to the house and give her lessons here. Um, and talking to her teachers already, they're talking about not even reopening our schools until next year, because they're saying right now, they're saying, honestly, I mean, Trump was talking about everything going back by April the 3rd, but they're saying the end of April, early May at the earliest before they're in a position where they're willing to reopen our schools. And by then, they've only got like 2 weeks left of school before that they release for the summer break. Yeah, they haven't given us any curfew. We haven't been given an official lockdown order here. We've been given a suggested that you stay home. It is strongly recommended to stay home, but no official, you have to stay home. But we have personally decided we have to stay home, and we're staying home. We've canceled all of our doctor's appointments. We had another trip planned for Dallas that we've already canceled. We've already rescheduled this trip 3 times, and we just canceled it again. We had a conference that we were going to this summer for families of holoprosencephaly kids like Emily. They've just announced yesterday or day before that they're canceling this year's conference. They're going to reschedule it for next year. They do it every other year, so they're just postponing it, and they're going to do it next summer. Um, and yeah, we live in Texas. Yeah, it's hard to teach her online because, like, with her, she doesn't get like regular, oh, 1 plus 1 equals 2 kind of lessons. Right now, the main thing that her teachers are working with her on is they have some devices that they're training her to use for communication. And like one of them's like a little board that they have, and it has different spots in the different corners. And she uses her eye gaze to look at the answer that she wants to give them. Um, that kind of thing doesn't work with a video chat. You have to be right there and interacting with her one on one in order for that to work. At least at this point, in order to train her. Once she's trained in how it works, and once she understands how it works, and she's developed enough skill with it to be able to communicate, we might be able to do some stuff online. But at this point, we can't. With her disabilities, we can't do stuff online. She just isn't getting anything, and that's hurting her. Now she's gonna regress because every time she does without her therapy, she does without her schooling, she does without the services that she needs, she regresses, and we have spent weeks or months getting her back to where she was, and then start moving forward. And we try to work with her as much as we can, but Jessica and I are not trained in how to do a lot of the stuff that they do. We watch what they do and we kind of learn some of the techniques so we can kind of work with some of it, but there's a lot of it that we can't do. And I'm not always here. Like me, when with my working and with me doing units and stuff, there's a lot of times the therapists and those people are here. I'm not even here when they're here because I'm out working, I'm out doing stuff and getting stuff done for our storage and trying to do stuff for our business. They haven't enforced a curfew here. Now, all the stores here are closing at like 8 o'clock. And these are stores that are open till like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're all closing their doors by 8. But that was kind of a self imposed decision by their companies to do that. There was nothing enforced. Like I said, we really don't have any cases in our small town. We're in Lockhart, which is a small town outside of Austin. We don't have any cases right here in our town or in our county. The closest cases that we know of is in San Marcos, which is about 20 miles away. Yeah, it got pretty hit because y'all aren't that far from Plano, Kim. And I know that's where Grimes lives, and that's where some of the first cases in the Dallas area was in Plano. I know Plano because I went to high school in Plano. So I went to high school in Plano and McKinney. So I know that area very well. And that's where kind of the central area for the Dallas area is. It's kind of spread around Dallas now, but that's kind of where the centralized was. Denison's under shelter. Yep. Yeah, that's the way it is. And it's hitting a lot of people. I've got an aunt and uncle. They pretty much spend half the year living in their motorhome, and they're stuck in Montana because they're not being allowed to leave where they're at. They were actually on their way to Alaska, and they were almost to the border when all this started, and they shut down the border and they couldn't get through. So, and now they're stuck there. They won't even let them come back home. And so, I got family all around that's being affected by all this in one way or another. Um, Luckily, I mean, our biggest thing for me, my biggest thing is just, concern of somebody else bringing it into our house. And we're being very particular about, who we allow come to our house. Yeah. Wow, Papa Smurf. That is crazy. Only essential jobs out after 5 p.m. See, we're not that bad yet. I'm not saying we won't get there, but we're not that bad yet. Um, but it's rough, and there's a lot of fears going on about it. Um, I've honestly, except for just paying attention to the restrictions and stuff, I've kind of ignored the media of what's going on with this thing because honestly, the news media is 90% of the problem because this thing is serious, but it's not as bad as the media is making it out to be either. I mean, it's serious and it's something we need to definitely take precautions for and be aware of. But I've even talked with some of our doctors because we see doctors quite regularly, and we've been doing some teleconferences with some of our doctors, just making sure of what's going on as far as we can. And they've even told us don't watch the news media because they're blowing things way out of proportion. Um, and they're making things out to be worse than they actually are. They said you got to realize there have already been over 100 times more deaths from the flu this year than from this virus worldwide. We're not just talking about, okay, well, we know it's just starting in the US and it can spread. We're talking worldwide where this has been going on for several months. There's been more reported cases of death from the flu than from this virus. And most of the deaths have been people that had other complications that did not react well with the virus. If you were a fairly healthy person, 90% of the people that are fairly healthy are getting over it. It's a very small percentage of people that are actually having trouble afterwards that were healthy beforehand. Now you may not be healthy and you may have other issues and other things like with Emily. Like I said, I'm not concerned about me. I'm not really concerned about Jessica. I'm not really concerned about Jesse. I'm concerned about Emily because of her compromised immune system. She's one of those cases that it very well could lead to her death. Um, and but some of this for me, and this is where a lot of people get mad at me. Some of this for me is a matter of faith. And with my faith, it's not just a matter of, oh, well, God's going to protect me. It's more of a matter of faith of if God decides it's my time to go, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. If it's time for my daughter to go, it doesn't matter what I do. God's going to take her home. And that's just the way I look at it. That's part of my faith. That's part of what I believe. When it's your time, God's going to take you no matter what you do to try to prevent it. At the same time, I'm not hurrying to hasten it. But at the same time, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and freak out because it may or may not happen. I could walk out my door and get run over by a bus. Not very likely since no buses come down my street, but it could happen. Yeah, a lot of this has been created by the media, and it's a lot of media hype, and a lot of the panic and stuff is being caused by media blowing things way out of proportion. So it is serious, and I think people need to take it seriously. People need to take serious precautions. And if you have special needs, or if you have people that are have some of those pre-compromising conditions that could lead to further complications, then you might need to take a little extra caution. But don't panic and don't get all out of sorts. The whole thing is people are panicking because the media is hyping up the death tolls. They're hyping up the number of cases, but they're not looking at the percentages, like the number of cases is per capita in those areas. Yeah, New York's getting hit with a lot of cases because of New York has a very high population in a very dense, small amount of space. So one, a virus is going to spread much more easily because there's more people in less space than most of the rest of the country put together. But then you've got to realize that New York has they're reporting the cases, but they're not telling you, you know what, this is like 5% of the entire population. This is 4% of the population of New York. They're just saying, look at how many cases we have here. And some of those cases, even I actually did listen to some of the reports. One of the things that they said last week was that they were putting out some new testing protocols that were going to see a huge drastic increase in the number of reported cases because they were being able to process cases much more efficiently and effectively. So they were doing more cases. So of course they would have more numbers. Some of those cases that they're being reported now are 3 and 4 weeks old. They're just now getting tested. So some of those numbers have been there already. They just hadn't been reported. Wow. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Well, they have tests, but they're being very restrictive on who gets them, and that's the ridiculous part. Now, I do understand from some of the things that I've looked into, supposedly, now I don't know because I'm not in that field, but supposedly some of those tests cost like $2,000 per test to run. That's part of why they're trying to limit how many people are getting tested. And if you're not, yeah, if you're not in the major cities, you're probably not going to get tested. Um, we would have to go to Austin to get tested. We would have to get out of our community. It's about a 45-minute drive into Austin from where we live. And we would have to go into Austin to one of the facilities that's doing testing in order to get tested ourselves. And it's not worth it for me. Um, and we don't believe we've been exposed. I mean, we've been out and about, so there's always a chance of random exposure, but we've tried to limit going out and about unless we absolutely have to. Only Red River Emergency has the test there. I'm sure that more places around here are getting the tests. It's just a matter of getting them out to people, but still just getting people into them and getting people to go take them. I don't know. I just think people need to calm down. And like I said, I think some people need to be checked. And I think, if you've been exposed to somebody that does have it, of course, take all the proper precautions to keep from spreading it. But 90% of what's going on is people just panicking about they might get it or they might be exposed to it. And that panic and that fear is just being perpetrated by the media. And that's what needs to stop because we can't get this things under control. We're not going to get the raiding the stores and all that stuff under control until you get the fear and the panic under control. When you get the fear and the panic under control, a lot of that stuff's going to go away and it's going to fix itself. But that stuff is not going to be fixed as long as people are still fearful and people are still panicking. And that's what people need to do. A lot of people need to just calm down, get outside of their fear, and think rationally about what's going on. And I mean, I have to fight Jessica on it because she wants to join everybody else in the panic and going out and standing in line for hours on end to try to get a few rolls of toilet paper. We've got toilet paper. So why do we need to go stand in line to get more? It's insane. And risk exposing ourselves and risk exposing Emily. When you go to work, they take your temperature. And see, the temperature is, but there's so many things that can cause a fever. It's not all the virus. That's the thing. The things that they're looking at, like, oh, we're going to take your temperature. If you're running a fever, you can't come in. Well, I get that's one of the symptoms, but it's like saying, okay, if you have a fever, you have to have the virus, so we're not going to let you work. When, I mean, even a cough. We went to one of the doctor's offices for one of Jessica's follow up appointments last week, and they didn't want to let me in because I coughed because I have severe allergies, and I know I have severe allergies, and I was fine, but I happened to cough just as I was walking in the door because I had all this nasal drainage going down, and I cleared my throat. They didn't want to let me in because I had to clear my throat. I said, but they say it's a dry cough. I said, it's not dry. They say your sense of smell and taste. Well, my sense of smell and taste have been gone for years. So I don't know what they're going to say about that. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say about the one that they're not treating. They should be getting treatment on their facilities. There's protocols set in place already for that situation. So they should be treating her. I don't know what's going on with that. There may be something more to it that we don't know about. Um, yeah, that's the way it is with Emily. Her baseline is 97.5. So if she's running a 98.8, she's got a low grade fever. If she's at 90, she's at 99, it's like a normal person having 100. And we have to fight with doctors about that all the time because we'll come in saying, "Oh, she has a fever, she's at 99," and they're like, "Oh, that's nothing." And we're like, "No, for her it is. That is a fever for her." So, yeah, I know there's a lot of people that run a low average body temperature, and they've got to take that into account. So yeah, we have to fight with the doctors over that anytime Emily gets sick because when we're taking her in because she has a 99-degree temperature, they want to turn her away saying, "Oh, that's not a fever." Yes, it is. It is for her. Even her doctors have it in her charts that is considered a fever for her because that where her baseline is. Like I said, 97.5 is her baseline. It has been. They didn't want to let her. That was one of the things we had to fight with them at the NICU when she was in the hospital when she was first born. Is they said that her temperature was too low. They couldn't let her go home, and her temperature's never gone up unless she's sick. I mean, she's 6 years old, 7 years old now, and she still has the same temperature she had when she was born. 97.5 has been her baseline since she was born. And she's been stable at 97.5. She just has a lower than average body temperature. Yep. So, yep, there's a lot of that stuff going around. So, anyway, I've been on for almost an hour. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna go take care of Emily. I'm I hear her in there. I'm thinking Jessica's got her hands full with Jesse, so I'm gonna go see if I can help them out. Um, I hope you guys have a great day. I am going to be doing some more videos later on this week, and hopefully doing an auction this weekend. So y'all stay tuned. Uh, and hopefully all this craziness settles down, and we can get back to business. That's the biggest thing for us. We're just hoping that everything will settle down and people will calm down so that we can get back to work and get things back going. So, hope y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Glad we got to chat for a little while. And y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all next time.